This is a video that I wanted to make for a very long time, and I've got a lot of thoughts. So, the state of the website industry is very dynamic right now, to say the very least. A lot of prominent thought leaders in the space, like Timothy Ricks, Mark Szymanski, Julian from MemberStack, and honestly, just every time I check into X or LinkedIn or YouTube, there's some type of variation of AI overtaking the website market, and all designers, developers, agencies who provide websites as a service being obsolete. And to be honest with you guys, so much is changing. And I just wanted to have probably a lower production video here is what this is going to be, going over my thoughts on all of it and how I'm changing my own actions to hopefully help you and give you some insight into what my thoughts are. If you guys don't know me, hey, welcome to the channel. My name is Andy. I'm the founder of MMG Studio here in Columbus, Ohio. We are a Webflow agency. It's a good segue because that is definitely one of the players in this key space. I remember I designed my first Webflow website back, 2022, 2023. I was working at an agency at the time just as an in-house graphic designer. And maybe a lot of you guys can remember, I think Webflow first came out a little bit earlier on. So probably before 2020 is when they originally launched the platform. But Webflow was very much pushing themselves as the designer's development tool. And I got so enamored with trying it out, testing everything, and really just being able to use that visual editor to kind of bring my design taste and background to life. I'd always been using Photoshop, Illustrator, all of these tools that allows you to do similar. And it was such a cool thing to learn the box model. I remember watching the entire Webflow University course, McGuire Brandon and his dry humor. And those courses were just so awesome. And it's what got me into doing web dev. And from that moment on, every time I would freelance, every time I would take on a new client, we would build their site in Webflow. And it always had my firmest recommendation. And to allude to some problems that could arise, like I remember in the early days having to always sell a slightly more expensive hosting plan to clients in the beginning. Right after we would launch their website, it would instantly be, even at the early days of what the Webflow CMS plan was, 20 to 25 bucks. And it was always just a conversation that I would either pay for it if the client was staying on for maintenance, or it just always seemed like a bad tax. It wasn't a great conversation transition. And fast forward to today, which I won't try and fast forward too much, but that's a big contention point of a lot of designers and developers and people who are in the web world is that just the costs and the greediness of Webflow as they kind of create their moat around enterprise customers. As of recording this video, it's late June of 2025. I would consider myself as someone who not has been on incredibly the cutting edge of AI, but someone who's always experimented. Say we have two sides of the spectrum. On one side, we have someone who is like an ostrich and totally buries their head in the sand when it comes to AI tools and using them. It says, no, traditional web platforms are going to be the way. This is just a fad. And then on the other end of that spectrum, we have people who maybe jumped on it too early and betrayed some of their clients' trust, were a victim to a lot of the hype. I mean, take one scroll through YouTube and you will see some of the most outlandish claims. And I think we can all agree that no matter how bullish we are on AI, those lies in those videos where you accomplish so much and every new launch is, the next greatest thing is just not good for anybody. So I actually don't have any regrets in terms of my approach to AI and the speed at which I adopted some of these tools into my workflow and how I put it to work for our clients. I don't have any regrets, which I think a lot of people do. So going back to the tune of Webflow, I think in the last couple months specifically, they've had kind of a series, at least in the public eye. Things are always different internally, but just as a consumer and a fan and user of the product, they kind of had an unfortunate topple of the dominoes scenario that's led them to not having a very good public facing image now. Rewind the clock a little bit, and they started integrating a lot of new AI features into the product. Webflow itself has a reputation of adding to the product and hyping up all these changes, optimize, analyze, but they're only for their enterprise customers. So even trace back the signal to years in the past, you see Webflow catering to that audience and really building their product from it in the beginning. And Webflow is a unique circumstance because freelancers, designers, and early stage developers are the ones that really got Webflow to where they are. They pushed for them. And even me, like I would always recommend Webflow to my clients because it was just so early in how easy it was to use given the dev complexity and control. And the emotion that a lot of Webflow loyalists feel is that of betrayal, because after years and years of recommending a tool to your clients, and all of a sudden the tool seemingly abandons you to serve to people who are paying them more money, kind of seems like a cop out. And I'm not mad at Webflow because this is just business best practices. It's just the way business goes. But the responsibility now falls on people who are independent, people who are building websites, to find the most tangible value for their clients, tool agnostic. Wix, Squarespace, Framer, all these tools have AI features within them. And the tools that have AI features within them hang on this promise that it's making the designer's life easier and adding more value to the designer and developers business, the marketer's business, rather than the people that they are selling to their clients. And it doesn't put them at risk for the clients doing it themselves. But really, the whole time, that hasn't been the case. Squarespace and Wix use AI to create very, very custom templates. If you even go to the homepage of their website, their first modal is create a website with AI now. That's their first call to action. To me, that doesn't speak to a seasoned website builder. A website builder knows that there's a process to this. They're not going to get from 0 to 1. That outcome, it just isn't tempting, and that doesn't fool a person who's built a lot of websites. And another domino that toppled for Webflow, especially here recently, they did lay off, hundreds of employees from their team. And right before that happened, costs went up. So CMS plans went through an increase in costs, and they eliminated one of their plans entirely that made Webflow available to free and lower level users. They also added a few bandwidth limits as well, which just puts it out of reach for people who are just getting started. As of this week that I'm recording this video, there have been dozens of agencies and freelancers who have posted that they had moved their own website off of Webflow and onto an easier to use CMS like Sanity and a hosting platform like Vercel or Cloudflare, where hosting costs are astronomically low. And that's just a gaping chink in the armor of a lot of these website builder companies, is that hosting, big secret, is now actually very cheap. And it always was. Webflow, Wix, Framer, Squarespace, they can no longer hide behind the fact that their value is within hosting a simple website, when a lot of these companies have been doing it for years at a nominal cost. Another big wrench in this entire situation was previously there was a lot of switching cost when investing into a website build on a single platform and taking it off of there. That was a defensible point for a lot of these companies as the technology started to get more accessible to build on your own. Pessimists say that the technology is never good enough to begin with. Next, they would say that the switching cost is too high and it's going to be too technical. It's not worth your time. I'm not sure what they're going to say next. One thing that this whole situation has taught me is that you don't want to create your niche and your IP around just the platform. Build up, if you're an agency, if you are building websites, if you are a marketer, brand yourself around your outcomes and not the tools you use to deliver the outcomes to your clients. It's definitely okay to share what you use and endorse tools if they actually are valuable and make sense for your clients. But the more and more you ignore evidence in terms of where the value is when it comes to things like cost, ease of use, accessibility, it becomes hard to deny that things are definitely changing. But going back to my earlier point of building my entire first website in Webflow while taking the Webflow University course, just this week, I spent 15 minutes doing the exact same thing with a new tool, and the output is actually better. It's a hilarious conversation because this probably took me a week of like very intense, focused, dedicated work when I was learning how to use Webflow. And all I did was use a tool to rebuild it almost pixel perfect in just a few minutes. The tool I used is called Ship Studio, and it is one that, in my experience, has made the offboarding and the friction around changing website platforms almost zero. It's definitely an interesting time, and I am enjoying it a lot. Okay, to round out some of my thoughts, I know this didn't have an overly clear path or direction, but this is my summary and what you should take away if you're watching this video. Number one, skills to double down on: communication. And this can take a few different forms. Number one, communicating well with your clients or whoever you're working with to deliver their outcome to them. Deeply, I can't emphasize it enough, deeply understand their personal and business desires and make tool recommendations that best allow you to execute on those outcomes. Also, communication in the sense that you are clearly telling them what is being done with their brand online. Be transparent in what parts you are using AI for, and then that way they will clearly be able to know what they cannot rely on AI for. Things like discernment, taste, compliance, strategy. You need to position yourself in a way to where you are the one moving the chess pieces and AI is the tool. Whether it's Wix, Squarespace, Webflow, Framer, all of these tools are going to move closer and closer to a point where output and deliverables is no longer an issue. I've seen this in our clients where we no longer bill by the hours. It's purely a strategic relationship. We lay out a roadmap together. We say, okay, this is the most efficient path to your goals. You have to be the person that they trust to deliver those outcomes and hold their hands along the journey to get to their desired end state. You cannot hedge on negligence and ignorance of knowing that these tools exist because they are absolutely incredible and I love using them. So to sum up my thoughts, hosting is no longer a moat for a lot of these website building companies. It's become abundantly clear. Webflow as a platform is moving enterprise. And if you don't have plans to do so for yourself, to sell to higher ticket clients and grow with Webflow, it's probably not the best fit for you anymore. Other tools like Framer, Wix, Squarespace, tool costs aside, those can be used as long as you are keeping the client's main goals in mind and over delivering on that outcome. I watched an Alex Hormozi interview recently where he compared AI to video. And when I think about websites, I think, what if websites become like video? Everybody has a phone. Everyone can easily whip it out of their pocket and create a video. And yet we still hire editing agencies. We still hire creative agencies. We still hire everyone to do video. Mr. Hormozi said it himself. Everyone can shoot a video, but not everyone is Mr. Beast. In the same sense that anyone can build a website, but not everyone is a creative. Not everyone is as good as it as you are. So if you're a marketer, I hope this has helped you. This is my current experience and just a honest thoughts of what I'm going through right now. I hope it helps. I hope it resonates, and we'll see how well this ages. I appreciate you guys. Check out the links in the description below, and I'll see you next time.